Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I am your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament, with that crazy Rabbi Stuart Federow from Houston, Texas. Rabbi, welcome back, sir. Good to have you, as always. And I'll tell you, that trip to Houston was just amazing. That was so cool. I was very...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that was fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was one of those things where it didn't feel like there was enough time, you know. I will say this: I don't usually get out much, so it was the time away from home was too much for me. But the time there wasn't enough. It was really kind of it was just strange. It was very strange, but I was glad to be back home. But then again, I was really sad to have to leave everybody behind. You know, we had such a good fit there, so it was really nice. But it was, and you cook a really excellent steak, by the way.
Hey, let me tell you, I was up all night marinating that steak.
That's great. That's funny. Okay, cool. Well, let me get logged in here to the Ring Central. Sign in. We've got that there, and we will kick this show off. Let me just do one more thing real fast while I'm toying around here. Thank you all for being patient with us. We have 12 tuned in. Wow, you guys really stuck around. It's like, man, you guys are stalkers. But that's okay. We like you guys. Y'all can stalk us all you want. That's perfect. So phone lines are open. 855-952-4253. And yes, I feel like 100% better. Thank you all for your prayers. It's absolutely wonderful to be back and having energy and not be coughing every time I speak about 5 to 10 words. So yeah, it's definitely much better. Thank you all so very much. Shalom Delaney, Kelsey Lynn, 1+3. It's really weird because I see names like 1+3. I'm thinking, I wish I knew their real name because it feels kind of weird on my side. And then you find out, their name is 1+3, and it's like, wow, your mom was very creative. just kidding. So anyway, I used to have this standing joke, and I've told this I think about 10 or 15 episodes ago that it took me until I was like in junior high to figure out what my name was, because up until then I got called every name in the book, and most of them were not something you could pronounce in public, unfortunately. So I need to turn this fan off because I'm hearing a lot of like wind wisping, and I think my fan is doing that. Let me see if that's...
Sure that's not on my end?
I'll tell you in a sec. Actually, I'll tell you right now if that's... No, it was on my end.
Okay.
I think that's what it was, because it actually got quieter in here when I turned the fan off. So if I start sweating bullets, it's okay. I'll do it for you guys because I love y'all. So anyway, well, I'll tell you what. It's I guess we should get kicked off. But realistically, I can't kick anything off without a phone call. So somebody had better call in 855.
Well, let me just tell Kelsey Lynn.
Yes.
Your knees are not supposed to hurt by just touching them. I just went through left knee full replacement. And a whole long years and years of stuff. And if your knees are hurting just by touching them,
oh wow,
you may want to get them looked at by an orthopedist or at least your normal physician, because that sounds like a lot of swelling and who knows what.
Right.
But I know how you feel.
Nice to meet you, Blake Williams. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're tolerating my dry humor, so I appreciate your patience there. So that's good. I see a lot of reoccurring activity on here, and that's really nice to see you guys. The more we see those names always there, it kind of feels like we're becoming more family-like. So that's kind of cool. So, well, if y'all don't have any questions that you have on the actual YouTube chat, Rabbi, I'm gonna leave the YouTube chat. You eyeballing it or keeping an eye on it, up to you, not me.
I'm trying to, yeah.
Because I don't really have a lot of time to be able to do that and this at the same time. So I'll let you monitor the YouTube channel as far as that goes. And but meanwhile, I'm going to just do a real quick plug. Most of you people have heard this before, but Rabbi Federow's book, Judaism and Christianity: A Contrast, is a must-have. It's really amazing. It's a good read. It's a small book. I say small, it's not big. It's smaller than your normal size, easy to read. Thank you, sir. Hold it steady. Don't move it around or anything. Beautiful. Good shot. Judaism and Christianity. Does it come with the rabbi?
No.
Oh, okay. You have to pay extra for that. So, but you know what? I'm sure it comes with some, free email questions and answers if you want to, especially with your.
Well, that's true anyway.
Well, plus they could actually download the app, and there's a lot of quick links to the app.
iPhone and
Yep.
Android app. Look
Yes.
for uh, mission. Look for Jewish Mission Control.
There you go. There you go. And so, yeah, it's a great book. It's not very expensive. You can get it on Kindle, probably cheaper than you can on paperback. Um,
Kindle, Nook, ebook,
nice. And
hardbound,
the app is also in Spanish.
paperback.
Creencia
Creencia Judía.
Judía.org.
CREENCIAJUDIA.
Okay.
Creenciajudía.org. It's a Spanish translation of a much older version of the English website. Michael, hi. Michael just showed up on the chat. He came to hear
Yes.
Rabbi Singer speak at Nativ.
Did you forget that I was there?
Well, I'm telling everybody.
Oh, it sounded like you were talking to me. Yeah, Michael Fairclough, it was nice to see you there in Houston at Nativ for sure.
Yeah, Michael, my knee is the same thing.
He says, hi, Rabbi. Okay, cool.
Hi, Rabbi.
Yeah, very good. Justin, good to see you, buddy. It says, great book, and the app is awesome. Perfect. Very good.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, if you don't have anything right off the bat, we could just play just for fun, just to see if this sound is even working here. There's nothing there, unfortunately. I'm going to go down to the voice messages on the Tanakh Talk Ring Central and just click a random one and see what it says. Maybe something we've already heard, maybe not. Maybe addressed to a different rabbi, but anybody can answer it, I'm supposing.
Shalom, William and Rabbi Singer. This is Bruce. I just wanted to ask a question about Deuteronomy 23, where it talks about the eunuchs, basically those who had their testes crushed while they are not accepted into the congregation of the Lord, nor the Amorite. And then how Isaiah 56 states that let not the eunuch say that he is a dried up tree, and let not the foreigner say that, that we cannot be a part of the congregation of Israel, but if you keep the Sabbath and also join to the covenant, then they will be a part of the nation of Israel, the congregation. I just wanted to know if these are referring to the foreigner as in the non-Jew, or is this the northern kingdom of Israel again? Thank you very much, and shalom. Rabbi Singer, you're amazing. I appreciate everything you do. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yes, he is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I thought his speeches at Nativ were just brilliant.
Oh man, absolutely. So did you catch and understand his question?
I caught what he said about Deuteronomy 23, but I didn't get the Isaiah reference quick enough.
Do you want me to back it up some?
Can you do that?
Yeah, of course.
That we cannot be a part of the congregation of Israel, but if you keep the Sabbath and also join to the covenant, then they will be a part of that, left to the congregation of the Lord, nor the Amorite. And then how Isaiah 56 states that they are not accepted.
Isaiah 56.
Okay.
To the congregation of the Lord, nor the Amorite. And then how Isaiah 56 states that let not the eunuch say that he is a dried up tree, and let not the foreigner say that, that we cannot be a part of the congregation of Israel, but if you keep the Sabbath and also...
Oh, you know what though? I think it sounds like that's not talking about the same thing. A dried up tree is something that's just old and dried up. But if a eunuch is somebody who had their, had them crushed or removed, that's like totally different. It was like it was done intentional. So it doesn't sound like those two are actually talking about the same. Am I wrong on that?
I don't think they're talking about the same, but I think that your interpretation is slightly off.
Okay.
Okay. I think in the Deuteronomy passage, wait, now I lost it. Deuteronomy 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or has his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. And I think what we have to do is determine what is meant by entering into the congregation of the Lord. What does that mean?
Right. To me,
let me see if it precedes this.
Is that where it's talking about not actually the congregation, meaning spiritual church, if you want to use those terms, but more of being marriable into the tribe?
Well, I think it's really talking about the leadership, but I could be wrong. You may seriously want to wait until Rabbi Singer answers this.
Okay.
But if I'm trying to get the context.
Sure.
And.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the context, but it seems to me that this is
Pardon me.
talking about the.
Okay, well, I'm going to play something else just random.
Would that be correct to say that?
All right. Sorry I struck out on that one, but I think that the wounded in the stones and all this is because leadership is not supposed to have any kind of diversions. Something that would take your mind off of what they are leading.
Hey, Jason. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you made it.
I went to 22 to see if there was a context. And, I don't know what that bell is.
Hello, my name is Megan Parker. I'm calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. I have a question for the rabbi. My whole family was raised Southern Baptist, and since obviously we've done a lot of learning and studying, my husband and I have went while my younger brother has decided to become atheist. One of the questions that he continues to ask me that I can't seem to find a satisfactory answer for is, when God destroyed the earth, why did he choose to do so by flood? Which, obviously would have been a very drawn-out, horrible death, by drowning. And there were animals, baby animals, children, babies, and it just seems like such a horrible way for God to have destroyed the earth when, obviously, there has to have been other ways that maybe would have been a little more merciful. So my brother has pretty much told me that that's one point that he just cannot get past, is if God is a loving and merciful God, why didn't he show more mercy to the people that he destroyed when he needed to essentially start the world over again? So I have desperately been looking for an answer for that, if the rabbi has anything that he could add. Thank you.
You know what's interesting? One of the first things that comes to my mind when I hear that is the person not her, but her what would she say, her son, who was atheist because
he was
of
a brother.
A brother. Doesn't really seem to me to be genuinely seeking God. He looks like he's more trying to find an excuse not to serve him. Because
that's true. I happen to agree with you. That's what a lot of atheists do.
And especially with this scenario with him, it seems like, because of he could have found a more merciful way to destroy the earth, like by fire, maybe torture people by fire, or crush them with stones. Honestly, water would be the way to go if you're looking for mercy, right?
Well, I would think so, because when a person dies from drowning, it's rather quick.
Right.
They try to hold their breath as long as they can.
Right.
But at the first time they try to breathe air and all they get in is water.
Right.
Death, air cut off the supply is pretty quick,
Yeah.
if I understand it correctly.
Yeah.
You got water in your lungs. The oxygen doesn't get to your blood. You lose consciousness rather quickly. So I don't think there's much pain in a drowning.
Right.
So I'm not sure how merciless it is as her brother wants to make it out to be.
Sure.
The second thing is you have to remember something. The flood was punishment for their being evil.
Right.
Okay, this was not just a random.
Yeah, and it wasn't the innocent that were punished.
Exactly.
Right. That's a good point.
And the same thing happened with the taking over the promised land in Genesis, and then again in Deuteronomy. Well, at first in Genesis, God says to Abraham, to Abraham, or maybe it's to Jacob, but he says the sin has not yet come up to me, or some words to that effect, of the people in Canaan, in the promised land. In other words, it's not yet time to punish them for all their sins.
Right.
And so that's why they don't take over the land immediately. And then you get in Deuteronomy the admonition to Moses and Joshua. He says, now the time has come. So that when the promised land is taken over, atheists will also point to that and say, oh, horrible God, horrible God. And they forget that the text explicitly says they're being punished for their sins. And what sin did they commit that was so horrible? They were sacrificing their children to the gods.
Wow, right. That's pretty deep. Okay, yeah. That caller just called, but then I think they hung up before I could get to it.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's okay. They'll probably call right back, I would imagine.
Zechariah wants to ask a question about the book of Revelation.
Okay, perfect.
But he doesn't ask the question.
Okay, so in about 20
So Zechariah asked the question.
Okay, so in about 20 seconds, he may begin to start typing, so that's about how long.
Zechariah.
Yeah, there we go. Probably 12:10, I'm guessing. That's probably the most. While he's contemplating and while we're waiting for a phone call, I will go ahead and pull up our shot on the Biblia.
By the way, I want to go back to something you said about atheists, especially new atheists. They really atheist, without God or no God, is they're not for anything. They're against something. They're against the belief in God. They're against the believers in God.
Okay.
And so they're not trying to formulate an idea. They're trying to show why the idea everybody else has is wrong. I think that's what they were doing. Okay, does the rabbi know how the Christian Bible came up to the number of 144,000 derived from the 12 tribes, each 12,000? Why is there a difference between regular Christians and Jewish Christians in the book of Revelation? Okay, that's a good question. I'm not sure why there's a difference between regular Christians and Jewish Christians. I'd also like to know chapter and verse of what you're referring to.
I think it's.
But remember, there's.
17.
I'm sorry. What?
I was thinking it was Revelation 17, but I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it real fast.
Well, he asked about 144,000, which is 12 tribes times 12,000, and certain numbers have certain. Let me start over. Numbers repeat themselves. Important numbers. Daniel says it's Revelation 7, so let me...
All right, while you're looking that up, let's take this caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Jay from Alabama.
Jay, welcome back, brother. How are you, man?
Feeling pretty good. Got a question? You got time?
Yes, sir. Rabbi Federow's got his ears on. I've got mine on, and let's have us a shindig. What do you got?
Okay, it has to do with God not allowing human sacrifice. But in Judges chapter 11, verse 30 through 39, I'm kind of struggling with because it deals
with... Okay, wait. Judges, Jephthah, and you said 30 what?
God that he'll sacrifice.
Hang on just a second, Rabbi.
The first thing that comes out of his house is a burnt offering.
Yeah.
God lets him win the battle.
Judges 30.
Short, God lets
Judges
him
11.
Battle and he has to sacrifice his daughter.
Okay, Jay. Hang on one second. I'm just going to kind of pull that up here. Judges... You said Judges 11, 30 through 35? Right?
30 through 39.
Oh, yeah, Jephthah, that's right. Okay, cool. Okay, so interesting. Yeah, that's something... the one thing I got out of this story... I have to go before Rabbi because most of the time the stuff that I say is either missing something or I've got it completely wrong. So this way he can say, nope, that's not right, or yes, it is. So this is like his way of teaching me through all this, too. So stay on the line for a minute. Okay, so... my whole overview on this was that God never approved of what he did. God never said for him to do it. God never blessed him for it. There was nothing major that took place here that would actually lean one way or the other. But the most important thing was that God never told him to do this. And the fact that he followed through with it is actually even questionable in the Midrash because part of it says that it never actually went through and actually literally killed her. But that I'm missing some bits and pieces, but if you throw out the Midrash and just see the story, it was still something that God didn't hold him accountable to do. It was just something he chose to do. That's all I got on it. Rabbi, can you fill me in some more? or correct me
Well,
what I said.
You got
I'll
to
hang
take
up
a
and
look at
listen,
all the
guys.
verses.
Okay, Jay, thank you, brother.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Judges 11:31. Okay, that it shall be that whoever comes forth out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Eternal's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. So Jephthah passed over into the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Eternal delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer. By the way, I did a archaeological dig at Aroer.
Really cool.
Yeah, 100,000 years ago, 41 years ago.
I thought you looked kind of old, but I didn't know you were
Okay,
that
so
old. Okay.
it says in Judges 11:34, and Yiftach came to Mizpeh and his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances. Okay, and here's an important line. And she was his only child. Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. Okay?
Okay.
So it's saying that Yiftach, that Jephthah, had no other children besides his daughter.
Okay.
Okay. And it came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low, and you are one of them that troubles me, for I open my mouth to the Eternal, I cannot go back on my word. And she said to my father, If you have opened your mouth unto the Eternal, do to me according to that which you have proceeded out of your mouth. For as much as the Eternal has taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. And she said to her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down into the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. She doesn't say, and bewail my life. She doesn't say, cry about my death.
Okay.
She doesn't say anything about being sacrificed on an altar by being killed.
Okay.
She's bewailing her virginity. And he said, Go, and he sent her away for 2 months, and she went to her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. Again, that's verse 38. Nothing about her death, nothing about dying for somebody else. There's not a word in here about dying for somebody else's sin. And it came to pass at the end of the 2 months that she returned to her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed, and she knew no man.
Ah.
What is it that Yiftach was sacrificing?
Thank you. There was no life sacrifice at all.
Bingo. And the question is
I'm sorry,
exactly,
no life loss.
and but you got to ask the question: what was he
Very
sacrificing?
Cool. Very cool. Wow. Dang.
William, what was he sacrificing?
Future children, I guess.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Heirs.
Future heirs. Yeah.
If she was the only heir.
Oh yeah, and
only child.
Oh yeah.
And she's not going to have any kids.
Right.
Then Yiftach is giving up heirs.
Yes, right. Which means he's also giving up. In essence, he is ending his family line, because she would have been.
No, he is ending.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Ending it.
That's what I mean. I mean, he's so yeah. So
okay.
That's a huge. That is huge.
Keep reading though.
Okay.
Okay, verse 39. And it came to, we said that already. Okay, and then 1140. And it was the custom of Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Yiftach, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year.
Wow.
Okay, so
that's cool.
She becomes like, you know what she becomes? William.
Sir?
And who was calling?
That was Jay from Alabama.
Okay, Jay from Alabama. What did she become?
She basically became a eunuch, eunuchus.
Well, there's another name for that. I'll give you a hint. Think a Catholic tradition.
I was thinking the same thing. Nun. She became a nun.
Basically, that's what it was. Is she was promising not to have children, not to know a man, to be basically a Vestal virgin, or whatever you want to call it, a nun.
Interesting.
And the Yiftach sacrifice.
Wow, I didn't realize that was going to be. I did not realize that was going to be such an awesome question. Jay, 2 thumbs up, man. Hey, real quick, Jason Acres, Green Acres Pest Control. I'm calling on you right now. Wally James Cleaver is got a computer issue with something. Maybe you can see the YouTube chat and give him an assistance. So anyway, I don't know actually, Wally. If other than just refreshing your screen, I don't know what to tell you. If you're the only one, it could be that your internet may be going too slow, and maybe it won't even bring the video up based on your internet speed. You can do speedtest.net and do a speed test and see how your speeds are. As long as you've got like 3 or 4 megs of download speed, you should be able to see the video. So anyway, speedtest.net. Once it comes up, just click the go button or test, whatever it is, begin test, and that's all I've got for now. So Green Acres Pest Control, my dear brother Jason Akers, you are the man. Okay, he's like my little genie in a bottle, but he's more like a pest control dude in my shirt pocket.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
Genie in a bottle.
Okay. All right. So cool. So let's move on. Wait, you weren't actually done. I actually stepped on you to answer.
No, I was done.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So that's really good because see, actually, I've heard somebody refer that before a couple times, and my only answer was that little cheesy one that I gave up front. Now I will be able to.
Correct.
Yeah, but now I've got the full story. Now it all makes sense. Before it kind of made sense, but it kind of didn't, and I didn't know for sure. I wasn't confident. But what you just explained was just like everything out in black and white is brilliant. So it's like no more issues with that one. So that's really awesome. So Jay,
I forgot which comment. It could be Rashi, but
yeah,
I don't.
That's really.
I don't remember which commentary it is, but that's how they deal with the text.
Julie, sell your house so you can come to Israel before 2018 to Knock Talk tour. Let's get that house sold, woman. Okay. All right, Rabbi. So what's up now? What's your big? Never mind. Hold that thought. Let's take this call.
I didn't even know what you were going to ask.
That's good. I'll have to hold that thought myself then. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
My name is Blake Williams, and I'm from Denver.
3 plus no. What is it? 1 plus 2? No. What is your YouTube page saying?
Oh yeah. 1 plus 3 equals B.
Yay. Blake Williams. I finally have a name and a sound with the 1 plus 3 equals B. That's awesome. What's your question for Rabbi? Thanks for calling in, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. So I have kind of 2 questions. My first is...
First, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. Blake?
How did they decide...
Blake?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. First, if you don't mind, I need to ask you a question, but it's more of a technical question, a studio technical question.
Uh-huh.
Do you hear an echo when you talk to me? Can you hear your own voice repeat back to you at all?
No, I can't hear an echo.
You can or cannot?
Slight echo, but not everything's echoing.
Okay, good. Because I had that on Sunday, and I honestly have no idea why that's happening. My friend Jason, actually, Green Acres Pest Control, will probably help me resolve that. Okay, sorry. Go ahead and start over with your question, and I'll be sure to be quiet while you talk.
All right, no problem. So my first question is, how did they decide what went into the Tanakh, and how did they know when to cut it off?
That is a fantastic question. In fact, that's so good, I'm going to actually ask Rabbi Singer that on Sunday also, just to get more input.
Yeah, you should.
That's really clever.
I'll give a better answer, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, as I understand it, it's quite simple. Okay.
Just stay on the phone with us if you want. Go ahead.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Okay, you know how if you go to Washington, D.C., the United States Constitution, the original one drawn up by Jefferson or whoever, is under glass in xenon gas?
It's really hard to understand you. Do you mind if I hang up and listen?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
It's really hard to understand. I'm sorry.
That's.
I'm sorry.
Wait! Don't hang up yet. What's your second question?
My second question was basically, how did the rabbis? How did they know when to cut the Tanakh off? How did they know when to end it?
Oh, so that was actually a joint question. You already asked both questions.
Right. It's basically the same question.
Okay, gotcha. That's what we need to know. Okay, thank you so much, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay. Bye. All right, go for it, Remy.
All right. What I was trying to say is...
I'm not a history buff, so I can't answer that question you just asked.
Right. Well, I'm not sure I'm a history buff either, but what I was going to say is in Washington, D.C., there are certain documents that are considered so precious that they're kept in xenon gas so that oxygen cannot get to them. And they're under glass so that, they're sealed off so that air can't get to them, and they're kept in xenon gas, which prevents it from disintegrating.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Okay.
I have heard some.
So
I didn't know it was xenon gas.
My
but I know
question
it's
is,
xenon, so.
what documents do we consider to be so special to the United States and our history that we would do that to them? Okay, we're not going to do that to a letter in French. Okay, sent to the French ambassador. Okay, in 2010. Okay, in other words, we're not going to see something in a foreign language to be as important as something in our own native language.
Okay.
No matter what it is. So to be in the Bible, it had to be in Hebrew.
Gotcha.
Okay. Remember, the passages that are in Aramaic, which indicate their lateness, okay, are still surrounded by Hebrew context. So Daniel, is the big one. Most of Daniel is Hebrew.
Right.
Okay. So first of all, it has to be in the right language. To be considered biblical, it had to be in the right language. So any text that was originally written in Greek.
Oh yeah. So either Hebrew or Aramaic.
So for example, books of 1st and 2nd Maccabees. That's a story about a Jewish holiday and an event in Jewish history, but it's not so ancient to be considered, scriptural. It's our history. It's our history of a holiday we still continue to celebrate, but it's not considered biblical because even back then there was no original document that was Hebrew.
Right.
Most likely it was originally written in Greek, the lingua franca. The main. Oh, cheers, William.
Cheer.
That looked good.
30 seconds, 20 seconds, man. See, I tell you, there's a lag on the. Stop watching the video.
Okay, the second thing is the period of time. Okay, Judaism believes that prophecy ended at about the time of the first destruction of the temple, 586 BCE. So that to be what we call in the Bible, okay, to be considered biblical, Holy Writ, Hebrew Scriptures, Tanakh, it had to be written before the first destruction of the temple or around the first destruction of the temple. And at minimum, it had to be like about the it had to be concerning events that took place around the first destruction of the temple. So the prophecy was considered to have ended at the first destruction of the temple. The last book.
The destruction of the first temple or second temple?
I'm sorry, what?
You said the destruction of the first temple?
Yes. Malachi is considered the last book of the Bible, but what's it about?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so the point is that it has to be about that period of time or about that event. Okay, Daniel sets itself in that period of time, post first destruction of the temple.
That's right.
But yeah, okay. So the point is made. All right. The third thing is that you're not going to put something in the Bible that says Baal is God. In other words, it has to fit the theology and the already known revelations of God. If it's going to be a text that contradicts that, it's not going to make it into the Bible.
I think, let me interject something. I got out of his tone and his questions was not so much the content that would be allowed, but who were the ones? Was it one person? Was it a bunch of people who decided what came in and what got rejected?
Okay, and again, like I said, history's not my long suit.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. Most likely there are a number of factors that are going into this.
Okay, so
sorry, say it again?
To me, it would almost seem like I would almost be more curious on who let this stuff in or out.
I think this would be the Jewish community, of the earliest Second Temple period. So we're going back to the 300-400s BCE.
Okay.
Okay. It would most likely be
First Temple period.
Me and names.
That's okay.
By the way, William, if you ever thought about doing this in the morning when I was more awake, it would not help.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
Okay. Ezra. Jason Akers said he thought it was Ezra.
Right. Well, yeah, Ezra and Nehemiah, okay, are part of the rebuilding of the Second Temple.
Okay.
So their books, their history is in the Tanakh. Okay. But you're not going to get a whole lot later. Right. So first thing it has to be in Hebrew. Second thing it has to be around the right time, because, you know, if you have somebody considered to be a prophet, but he lived in the 20th century, you know, like 100 years ago,
right,
he's not going to be put in the Bible. There has to be a cutoff time.
Right.
And the cutoff time was considered the first destruction of the temple. Remember, the vast majority of Jews did not come back with Ezra and Nehemiah back to the Promised Land. They stayed in Babylonia.
You say
we're operating from Texas. We're not operating from Israel.
Right, gotcha.
You know, the Jews could go back now to the land of Israel, and they should go back, but they don't. I don't. We're here. Well, the Jews of the Babylonian exile were no different. They made a life in the exile in Babylonia. They made a Jewish life in Babylonia, and they didn't go back when they had the chance. They stayed where they were. The majority of Jews never came back. 80% of the world's Jewish community no longer lived in Israel and no longer, really cared what happened there.
Right.
Well, they may have cared, but not enough to move there to like people make Aliyah now. And of course, the third thing is it has to be in consonance with the already accepted revelations from God. You know, if a text contradicts Torah, if a text contradicts the basic theology of Judaism, it's also not going to be put in the Bible either. So I think those are the three main characteristics. And your question about who did it, okay, there are a number of factors that are going in on this. Okay, William, if I was going to do let's say I was going to write a story about the Civil War. Okay, don't you think I would have to have something in there about Abraham Lincoln? Okay, I mean, it's only logical that if I'm talking about the Civil War, I'm going to say a lot about Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so the people of the day, okay, from let's say about 100 BCE, going back all the way to the first destruction of the temple in 586 BCE. There were certain texts and certain people who became famous. They knew about them. The average Jew on the street would know, if you're talking about the destruction of the temple, don't you think you have to say something about Ezra and Nehemiah? Don't you have to have a text that at least mentions Cyrus of Persia, allowing the Jews to go back? Right. They were not in a bubble. They knew the history. They knew things of their own people's backgrounds and history. And another thing is, if you have these stories and these books circulating, and the Jewish community already considers them to be special and important and useful and whatever, then the people who are determining what goes into what we call the Bible are going to have to pick those, because everybody knows about them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So I think that's a fourth element that goes into who and how the Bible gets written.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so the people, whoever it was, probably the Jews of the early Second Temple period. So let's say past.
Okay, pardon me real quick. I'm sorry.
Something like that.
I apologize to all of you for grunting. You're clearing my throat in the phone, and I actually grabbed the wrong and turned the wrong volume knob down. So I apologize.
I also find it interesting that the Jews acknowledge the fact that God speaks to Gentiles and sends them prophecy as well. But that the Jews are closest to God and therefore receive clearer messages. I agree with you. The reason why God in the Bible, in the Torah, in Genesis, starts out with Adam and Eve, who are not Jewish, is because it shows that God cares for all peoples, not just Jews. Okay, the Holy Writ, the sacred scriptures of other religions usually begin with either the number one person who founded their religion, or they begin with believers already in that religion. Our Bible starts out, look, Jewish tradition calls Abraham the first Jew. Okay.
Right.
If Abraham is the first Jew, Noah is not the first Jew. Noah's not considered Jewish.
Right, that's true.
Okay.
And now tell me, you said that the Tanakh calls Abraham the first Jew?
No, I did not say the Tanakh calls him. I said the Jews call Abraham the first Jew.
Why do they call Abraham the first Jew?
Because he was the first to recognize the singular nature of God, the oneness of God. Okay.
Okay, so you're actually kicking off a bunch of different questions in my mind now. So
there are other reasons that go into it. Let me discuss that a little bit. Okay.
Sure.
There's midrash on this. There's commentaries on this. My favorite one has to do with Noah. The other person who would be in line to be considered the first Jew would be Noah, and Noah talked with God. Noah obeyed God.
Right.
Okay. Noah was considered righteous in his generation. So why wouldn't you give the honor of being considered the first Jew to Noah? And the answer is actually rather simple, at least in the Midrash. And that is, when Noah is told that the whole world was going to be destroyed, what does he do? He shrugs his
He was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says,
exactly.
okay, you want me to build an ark? Tell me where.
Right.
No defense of anybody else. No concern, no compassion, no nothing. When Abraham is told that only 2 cities are going to be destroyed, okay, what does he do? Now, wait a minute, God. Shall not the God of justice do justly? What if they're righteous people? Are you going to kill the righteous with the guilty?
Right.
Okay, and so Abraham, because he defended the meek and the powerless, was given the honor, according to the Midrash, of being considered the first Jew. But both Abraham and Noah talked with God. God talked to them. They both responded to God's commandment. Okay, Lech lecha. Okay, go. Literally, go for yourself.
Right.
Okay, and Noah's told, we're gonna have a flooding. Yeah.
No, I am not that old, so don't go there. Unless you give me a year and a band, you won't be happy with me. So I know you're into Britney Spears and all, but
hey, I like all sorts of music.
I am too, actually.
Not my favorite, but I'd even go listen to opera.
Actually, I like opera, especially whenever it's caught me by surprise. That's for sure. Okay, let me back up real fast. Do me a favor, do a quick plug. I'm going to derail you just for a second. Someone wants to know what is the best version of Hebrew to English translation? Would it be ArtScroll? Would it be JPS? Would it be what's the best translation?
And my response is all of them.
I was going to say the same thing because you're going to have some missing pieces in all of them. So you have to have 2 or 3.
You're also going to have nuances.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the first thing you have to understand when you're dealing with any translation is don't take any translation literally.
Right.
Don't assume that the way they render the English from the Hebrew, okay, should be taken verbatim, literally, just exactly as stated. But rather get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever, translations of the text you're studying, and understand from the nuance of each translation what the author, capital A, is trying to say.
Right. And I think this is going out to Nicholas Jacobowski, if I did your name right. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking for you now. I can't find it now.
I see it. A Jewish English translation of one of the books would be good.
Yeah, who was it that said that?
It was Nicholas Jacobowski.
Yeah, okay, good deal. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I totally, not that I have no scholarly reason to tell you that personally, but from my experiences, I totally agree because, ArtScroll, there's things, and then here's things, but if you put like 3 or 4 of these together and just do a really deep study and just stay plugged in and listen to your rabbis, you're going to find out that you're going to need more than just one to be able to kind of put the pieces together correctly.
Yes, exactly. And by reading a number of translations, you get really what the idea is that they're trying to get across in the original Hebrew. And of course, it must be said, learn Hebrew. If you really want to know what the Bible says, learn Hebrew. Okay, Nicholas asked the question, I am unsure of what book of Tanakh I should read and study. Would anyone decide on one of the books that I should read?
That's what he was referring. He didn't mean book. He meant what version of
Tanakh.
Okay. That's what this escalated to. So, yeah, no problem.
All right.
So.
Okay,
guys, phone lines are open. Oh, shucks. I think I just realized I might have disconnected it. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, we're good. Yeah, phone lines are open, so definitely call in if you have a question. So, and this is a toll-free number, so depending on where you're at, I've heard that some countries don't allow 800 phone calls or whatever, or 855, whatever, but this is a toll.
Well, we try to monitor the live chat, so if they have a question, put it in there.
Yeah, I like hearing voices, though, except for the ones that are in my head, like, you know.
Yeah, William, I was about to say that you always hear voices. I can hear music.
Hey, when are you coming here? Like next week, 2 weeks from now, what?
Do what?
When are you driving from Houston to here? 4-hour drive. Well, actually 3.5, whatever. When are you coming here for an in-house interview?
This weekend I have a wedding in Dallas.
Okay, I can come with you. I'm just kidding. I can't actually. I would love to, but
maybe the following weekend.
Okay, cool. Hey, you know what would be cool actually is if you could plan somehow next. What happened?
I'm booked on the 19th.
Oh, that's okay. Don't say you've got like several months to plan with, so you got plenty of time.
No, I don't.
Oh, what's your window? I forgot.
Well, July is my window. That's my month off when I'm a lot freer.
Oh.
But I'm going to be out of town the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it's okay. If we could plan it another time if it doesn't work out. So, you know what you should do? You should actually plan the. By the way, for the viewers out there, if you haven't seen it yet, Tanakh Talk is actually going to be doing a tour. It's going to be called Walk the Tanakh Talk.
Don't lose the phone call.
Got it already. Walk the Tanakh Talk tour of Israel. So, if you want to come, you need to act pretty quick because we only have 30 places available. So if you have any questions, find me on Facebook, and I'll give you your answers you need. So, caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, my name is Ben, and I'm calling from California.
Ben, welcome to the show. What is the question for Rabbi?
Hello. So my question has to do with the identity of a Jew. So I want to know,
that's good.
What are the conditions that define a Jew, and is it all right to talk about issues within the Jewish community? And the reason why I ask this question is because there seems to be this false synonym between discussing about Zionism and Judaism and Jewish identity, and some people seem to mix that up with anti-Semitic sentiments when really that is likely not the case. But I'd like clarification on that, please.
Okay, stay on the line because I'm not quite sure exactly what you're looking for.
Okay,
but
let me chime in real fast for two reasons. Number one, the first thing we're going to cover, Rabbi, is going to be who is a Jew. Who can say
that's not the right question?
No, wait, let me finish. Who can say, no, I am a Jew. I am actually Jewish. What does the term Jewish actually mean? Okay, that's going to be the first thing we attack or approach. But the second thing is, what is Zionism? That's my question. But he also mentioned about Zionism. So I'm going to ask you to please, if you don't mind, caller, to restate the topic you were talking about on Zionism, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So I was watching an interview with George Galloway, and there were people accusing him of being anti-Semitic because he was against Zionism. And
because he was against Zionism. Oh.
Yeah, and I found out that there are also Orthodox Jews that are against Zionism, saying that it's not according to Torah.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just like clarification on what is anti-Semitism as well.
That's actually that clarified it. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Go ahead and hang up now. You can tune in for your answer. Okay. Okay, Rabbi. So here's the deal. That's really huge. I've been having people who claim to be Zionists for a long time, and I kind of bob and weave to get out of the way. I don't even go there because I don't know anything about it. He's saying Orthodox Judaism says that Zionism is, it's unkosher. it's not
Well,
Torah.
when you say orthodoxy, be really careful.
Okay.
Because there are plenty of Orthodox Jews, including some that you interview,
Who are
who've
Zionists?
made Aliyah because they're Zionists.
Okay, now wait. You just said hold on. You said they made Aliyah because they're Zionists. What do you mean by that?
Why else would a person move to Israel,
Okay.
make Aliyah to live forever?
Okay, pause. Okay,
Except that they are Zionists.
Okay, so that is where we're going.
So when you say
Rabbi,
that
hold on.
Orthodox Jews
Rabbi,
don't,
Rabbi, hold on. Let me do this. Let's start right here. What is a Zionist? Tell me what that term means first, and then we move forward.
okay, Zion refers to the mountain of Jerusalem, okay, upon which the Temple Mount stands.
Okay.
Okay, that's the origination of the word Zion.
Right.
Okay, Zionism is the belief that the Jews have a right to a homeland, explicitly their ancient homeland. You know, we the indigenous people of the land of Israel. Okay, and I'm going to get a lot of eyebrows raised on that statement.
You give me an eyebrow. Show us the eyebrow dance. Go ahead. There's no
what?
music. No, you gave me an eyebrow dance when we started the show tonight, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Okay, but we have a right to go back to our ancient homeland. That the land promised to us by God to the Jews, we have a right to go back to that because ultimately it's our land. That's what Zionism means. That the Jews have a right to the Jewish homeland.
Okay.
And that's really all it means.
So it doesn't actually have a theology attached to it?
If you accept the part about God giving the land of Israel to the Jews, yes, of course it does.
Okay.
Okay, but the meaning of Zionism, you don't necessarily have to have the belief in God to go with that if you understand that for centuries and centuries and centuries, okay, the Jewish people were living in Israel, you know, for many generations.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you take it, every census ever taken of the peoples in the land of Israel, the promised land, okay, Jews outnumbered the non-Jews there every single census that's ever been taken. I forgot the year, okay, they did a census, and even then they found out that the Jews outnumbered the Arabs, Muslims in the area.
Okay, let me throw a point out real fast just to kind of catch an overall concept up to date. Okay, so this will actually help all you people out there who actually have ever tried to paint your inside your house, touch up the walls or whatever. I'll connect it in a minute. This idea of Zionism and what's kosher and what's not kosher, does Orthodoxy as a whole completely reject Zionism, that whole concept? And so what I'm going to say right now will actually reflect upon that. Do you know with paint, and Rabbi, this is for you too, this is interesting, little DIYers at home who like to touch up their own home. With paint, did you know that you can paint oil-based paint over latex, but you cannot put latex paint over oil base because it won't bond to it? The concept is what works one way, reversing it could cause a problem. The point is, with Zionism, just because they say they're Zionist doesn't mean that every Orthodox in the world will reject them. They'll reject them based on their halakha, not because they're Zionist. That's the whole point.
Right. The rejection by the Orthodox of other people has nothing to do with Zionism or not Zionism.
Right. It has to do with their halakha, with what they're doing religiously.
It's a religious base.
Okay, good.
But the Orthodox, there are certain subsets of the Orthodox who themselves are Zionist, but the difference is that the present state of Israel is not considered the right time, the right place, the right people, the right person the right, the right, the right. In other words,
Right.
from a explicitly religious viewpoint, the state of Israel is not supposed to be created except by the Messiah when he comes, and for all other humans to be making the state of Israel, it's what's the word? Misdirected. It's not
Right.
It's not, pardon the expression, it's not kosher. So they don't believe in the existence of the modern state of Israel, but that doesn't make them not Zionist. They're just saying that the state of Israel that should be created by the Messiah himself when he comes.
Now, Jacob Daniel asks, he goes, how can you separate Zionism from true Judaism? And to me, the answer is kind of clear. Zionism is just a title that a lot of people apply to their emotional, collection of how they feel about things. But I mean, like me, if you, I never knew it before today. I guess you could say I'm a Zionist. But am I a Zionist the way so and so is a Zionist and adopt all of his religious beliefs? Probably not. I mean, if what Rabbi is saying is true, that Zionism literally only means that Jews have the right to their land, and that holy land by Mount Zion, if that's all it means, that's a really, really broad spectrum. That covers a broad spectrum of people.
Well,
right?
There are different ways to approach Zionism. There's the
Right.
religious Zionism, which says that this is our land given to us by God. There's political Zionists, which say we should go back to our homeland because it's the only place we can know that, except for known enemies, we're protected.
Right.
We've got a place to go that'll take us. If the state of Israel had existed before 1933, when Hitler, may his name be blotted out, was brought to power, the Jews would have had a place to go. I mean, if you're doing any kind of history of World War II, you should know about the ship St. Louis, which docked at every single port from South America all the way up to Canada, and because they had Jews trying to get off the ship so that they would be, survive, and yet they were forced by every single port, including the United States. They had to go back to it. They had to go back to Germany, where the boat originated from, and many, if not most of them, died in the Holocaust, and they knew what they were going back to. So did the ports that rejected them, that wouldn't let them, land and put off their human cargo. So if they're political Zionists who don't necessarily look at this from a religious viewpoint,
Right.
but all you have to do is look at history. Okay, what's the other name from Jerusalem? The city of David. Okay, there is a clear history there
Right.
that the Jews had for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Okay, so let me blend something in here. Christelle Williams says a really interesting point, and of course Jacob Daniel kind of refocuses things. She said, because secular Zionists know that Israel was not founded on the 1948. Jacob says a better way to ask it is Israel a Jewish state or a state of Jews, of Jewish people?
Both.
It is
And the
both.
answer is both.
And
Because
my answer
Israel-
would be primarily it wasn't Israel in the beginning, it was Canaan. So the fact that it is called Israel is because of the Jewish people. The nation of Israel, that
Right.
land, the whole name Israel, the name of the land Israel came because of those people. That's the whole reason why it was called that. So
and the
it's
reason
both.
why it was,
It's both, yeah.
and the reason why the area was called Palestine, okay, there never was a country, okay, with a president or prime minister or king or leader or anything called Palestine. It was called, can't think of the first word, something or other Palestina, by the Romans, who wanted to disassociate the Jews from the Jews' own homeland.
Wow.
So when the Jews took over the land in 64 BCE and then scattered them after the second destruction of the temple in 70, they renamed it Palestina, okay, or Palestine, because they wanted to disassociate the Jews from their land, and they named it after Philistines.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Philistine is the same word as Palestine.
That's what I thought. I was thinking, wait a minute,
Right.
isn't it like a play on words?
Right. Even though at the time of 70,
right.
I don't think there were any Philistines left.
Right.
Okay, they either died or they were absorbed into other peoples, nations, whatever.
Right. Okay.
So,
before you move to a different thought, let's not miss something.
okay,
important.
Rabbi Shmuel, who says, from what I understand, Zionism was started by Theodor Herzl, who wasn't religious.
Wait, who said this?
That's not exactly true.
What was the statement and who said it? I mean,
it's Rabbi Shmuel on live chat. Rabbi Shmuel, it says, from what I understand, Zionism was started by Theodor Herzl, who wasn't religious. Okay, that's not exactly accurate. Okay. Zionism as a concept of the Jews going back to their homeland, you see in the book of Psalms. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither and my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Okay, you've got all these massive things in the Psalms about going back to the promised land. Okay, so Zionism as Zionism was a concept deeply as part of all Jewish religious services.
Wow.
So it's not that he started Zionism, it's that he started a modern movement to make Zionism happen. Okay?
Right.
And he did it on the heels of the Dreyfus Affair. The Dreyfus Affair was 1800s.
Wow.
Okay, 1880s, something like that. We're in France. There was a guy who was found to be giving secrets to England, I believe. And they blamed Dreyfus, who was a Jew, for giving off these secrets. And there were forgeries, there were lies, and it was all because he was a Jew. It was anti-Semitism. He was, because he got people in powerful places, like I can't think of his name, Emile Zola, who was a writer for a newspaper, to back him. They brought him back to trial for a second trial, even though they had the evidence that he was not guilty, and found him guilty again because they didn't want to embarrass the French army.
That's funny.
Okay, so he had to come back a third time, I believe, before they finally found him innocent. And by that time, he was simply, totally, and utterly a broken man. Okay, but Theodor Herzl was a newspaper reporter also at the trial of Dreyfus, and he realized we're never going to be safe until we have our own land and our own government. We're never going to be free. We're always going to be afraid of the powers that be unless we have our own land. And he started a modern movement to make Zionism come to pass, make it real.
Okay.
But Zionism as Zionism existed in all in every form of Judaism that existed preceding Herzl.
Okay.
Okay. You can't read the prayer book without the Siddur,
Okay.
without seeing Zionism all over it.
So here's the deal. We basically just in this general conversation, we've kind of already revealed why probably a lot of Orthodox Jews, at least, would say that Zionism is anti. It's not kosher.
Wait a minute,
let me finish.
again,
Let me finish.
No, I'm not going to let you finish.
Yes, you have
you
to,
say
because
the Orthodox.
watch. I'm going to show you a trick. Yeah, see that? I just tuned you out. I'm just messing with you. Hey, you said that you like this because we don't always agree.
Exactly, I do like that because we all agree. We don't agree, but even when we disagree, I'm right.
Of course. Okay, so my point is, there's very basic reasons why, and I know you will agree with this if you'll actually hear me out, why a lot of Orthodox Jews will disagree with Zionism, people who claim to be Zionists, because not everybody who claims to be a Zionist is really a Zionist the way maybe that should be a Zionist. Like, someone like, for example, there are Messianic Jews who believe that they're Zionist because they believe they have a part of Israel, but in no way, shape, or how do they have a part of Israel. And there's no way any Jew, I don't care if, what's your status, if you knew the whole realm of why Tanakh talk exists and the New Testament's, and bringing out all this garbage, there's no way you would accept that. You would say, no, that particular Zionist is not a true Zionist, is what they would say.
Well, I think they're having a very changed view of what the word Zionist means.
That's my point, right.
All Zionism means is the belief that the Jews have a right to go back to the land of their forefathers.
With no
Okay.
with no religious attachment or no.
But you can have a
doctrinal-
religious attachment,
You
or
can.
you don't have to have a religious attachment.
Right.
The
right.
concept of Zionism is that the Jews have a right to their own land.
Gotcha.
Okay, as a one-time indigenous people who twice in their history were exiled from their own land that they had lived in for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years beforehand. Okay, generation after generation after generation after generation was born in Israel. Okay, it's our history. When we read in the Bible about Solomon dying and then the two sons take over and split the land of Israel into
Right.
two, a northern and southern kingdom, it's the Jewish land.
Right.
Okay, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Okay.
So if they say, well, Messianic Jews can't be Zionists, well, if they believe that the Jews have the right to their own land,
No, they believe they are the Jews and they have a right
but
to the
they're
land.
but what is wrong is that they are saying they are Jews.
That's my point. That is my entire point. And you say you
but that's-
disagree with that, but now you just said you agree with it. My point is this: if you're a Messianic
No,
Jew,
but-
you don't have the right to anything if you have accepted idolatry as your base.
But
That's
that's
all I'm
not
saying.
what Zionism is.
I know that, but the people who are claiming to be Zionists don't know that. That's the point. Okay.
William, if they
Yes.
are making the statement,
Yes.
Jews have the right to their own land,
Yes.
and then they add to that
I'm a Jew.
the statement that as a Jew I have a right there too, the first part is called Zionism. The second part is called stupidity.
That's funny. Yeah,
but
true.
the
true.
first part is still a Zionist approach.
Okay,
Okay.
Listen, we have already passed an hour, but it feels like we've only been on here for 15 minutes. I don't want to quit. If you can keep going, we're going to keep going
I'm
for a
going to
while.
keep going because we didn't discuss his original question.
Right. Well, we kind of did on the Zionism part, but we did not answer what is a Jew.
And my response is the following.
Okay, good.
It's the wrong question to ask. When you say who is a Jew,
Okay.
that means you got somebody in mind. Okay?
Explain.
So the first question you have to ask is, what is a Jew?
Actually, that's what I just said, but that's not what he said. He did say who is a Jew. Yeah, what is a Jew is the proper question, right?
And that's what you actually said?
Actually, what I said was what is a Jew, but I actually wrote,
Okay, fine.
down who is a Jew, which
that's
is what
the
he
way
said.
to word it in my opinion.
Okay, good. That's fine. Go for
Okay,
it.
let's go back to the ancient world. Okay?
Okay.
And I know a historian would have a fit with what I'm saying, so try to understand what I'm saying and don't get mad at me for how I say it.
Okay.
Okay?
Are you talking to me or to the people?
I'm talking to the people in general.
Good, because I
Okay.
never get mad at you, so you're good.
Follow what I'm saying here, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You've got a person living in Athens, Greece. He wants to have rain for his crop. He goes to a temple to pray to that god for rain for his crops.
Okay.
What's the name of the god he's going to pray to?
Whichever god is of that country. Whichever
Exactly.
God. Right. So
He's going to go pray to Zeus because Zeus, the god of thunder, is the one who does rain. Okay? But let's say that he now has an economic problem and he's got to move from Athens, Greece to Rome, Italy. Okay? To Rome, because Italy didn't exist yet. Okay? He establishes his farmland. He's got a farm now, but he needs rain for his crops. Is he going to go pray to Zeus, his god in Athens? Or since he's now in Rome,
he's going to pray to the god of Rome.
Exactly.
That's
He's
the
going to go to Jupiter.
Right.
Okay. Listen to how I'm saying this.
Okay.
It means the country you live in determines the God you believe in.
Right.
You follow that?
I do.
The country you live in determines the God you believe in.
Okay.
If he then says, I can't make a living here, I have to go north, and he goes to the Germanic area of Europe, he gets his farm, but now he needs rain, he prays to the god called Woden or Odin.
Yeah, right.
The country you live in determines the God you believe in.
Right, gotcha.
Now you got the Jews come along. Doesn't matter if the Jews live in Rome, doesn't matter if the Jews live in Germany, doesn't matter if the Jews live in Athens, Greece. There's only one God. Doesn't matter where you are, it's the same God. So for everybody else, because they believe in multiple gods, the country you live in determines the God you believe in. But for the Jews, the religion, the God you believe in, determines the nation you're part of.
Okay.
Still with me?
Yeah. Which is why Zionism is...
Forget Zionism. I'm not talking about Zionism right now.
Yeah, but it means the same thing, though.
It doesn't mean the same thing. It has nothing to do with that.
Oh, well, what you just said was... Actually, repeat what you just said. So that
I said it's for everybody else, because they believe in multiple gods, the nation they believe in... I'm sorry, start over. The nation they're a part of determines the God they believe in.
Now, people, including Christians, believe the nation they're a part of is Israel. That's why they say they believe in that God. So there is a connection there.
Okay, that may be true. That's not where I'm heading now.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Okay.
We're only discussing one topic. What is a Jew?
Okay, gotcha.
We're not discussing Zionism, the state of Israel, land of Israel, Zionism, nothing.
All right, gotcha.
Okay, we're just trying to understand what is a Jew.
You got it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you first have to understand that for the Jews, as told to Abraham by God, we are a nation determined by our religion. For other peoples, other religions, whatever, they're a religion defined by their nation. Ours is a nation defined by our religion. It doesn't matter where we live. There's only one God in the universe. He's our God, and it doesn't matter what country we live in. That's our God, and so the God we believe in determines the nation we're a part of.
Okay.
The definition to Jews is that we are a nation defined by our religion.
Okay, so can I add a question to this?
Go ahead.
Okay. Why is the term Jew? Why aren't they called Hebrews instead?
We'll get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
But the first understanding of what is a Jew is that the Jews are a nation defined by the religion. If you believe in God, okay, the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey,
right?
Okay, then that is it determines being part of the nation. Okay. If a person converts to the religion, they become a Jew. They become a member of the nation because they've accepted for themselves the religion of the people of the nation. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So a Jew is a member of a nation defined by the religion. For everybody else on earth, their nation defines the religion. For the Jews, the religion defines the nation. In the modern period, for the past 3,500 years, give or take, if a person wanted to become a Jew, the way they became a Jew was to convert to the religion of the Jews, which is called Judaism. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Next thing you have to understand, okay, and that has to do with nationhood. And we've discussed this before, you and I.
Okay.
Okay. It's the Arthur, Bert, Charles, and David analogy. Arthur is born in the United States. His mother's born in the United States. His father's born in the United States. Arthur loves the United States, loves democracy, is very much a part of the political process. He moves for his business to Australia. Okay. In Australia, Arthur knows every topic. He writes to his U.S. Congress people about the issue. He celebrates July 4th every year with fireworks in Australia. On the fourth Thursday of the month of November, he has turkey in Australia. Okay. Arthur in Australia is still a U.S. citizen. He has done nothing to lose that citizenship. Bert is born in the United States. His mother's born in the United States. His father's born in the United States.
Okay.
Bert couldn't care less about democracy, couldn't care less about capitalism. He moves for a job in Brazil. Bert in Brazil, as long as he's got his paycheck, his beer, and his television, he's happy. Okay? He couldn't even tell you who the president of the United States is. July 4th comes and goes, means nothing to him. He does nothing to support the United States of America. He does nothing to support democracy. Couldn't care less about all that political stuff. His beer and his TV and his paycheck, he's happy. Even though Bert is living in Brazil, couldn't care less about democracy in the United States, he's still a U.S. citizen. Charles is born in the United States. His mother's born in the United States. His father's born in the United States. Charles hates the United States, despises everything it stands for. July 4th comes, he puts on sackcloth and ashes and goes into mourning. He gets so disgusted he moves to China. And in China, he gives money to Al-Qaeda and applauded when the Twin Towers fell. Charles, living in China, may hate and do everything against the United States, but he's still a U.S. citizen because he's done nothing to lose his citizenship rights. Now we come to David. All right. David is born in the United States, but his mother is born in Dubai, and his father is born in Denmark. When David hits the right age, which I think is 17, I'm not sure which, he has to choose citizenship. Now, the United States does, in fact, have dual citizenship with many countries around the world where you can be considered a citizen of both countries. But by and large, okay, we're only talking about 3 places for David right now: Denmark, Dubai, and the United States. David cannot say, hey, you know something? I really like the continent of Africa, and I'm going to become a citizen of Kenya. Why? Because he's got no inheritance rights to inherit citizenship rights.
Okay.
Which the nations have decided you get through your mother or your father. Judaism, the Jewish nation, has decided that citizenship rights are only inherited through the mother. Meaning that if your mother was Jewish, you are considered a Jew without the need to convert to Judaism to become a Jew. You're accepted as a Jew, assuming that your religion is Judaism.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. What does Arthur, Bert, Charles, and David have to do to lose their citizenship? They have to move to another country with whom the United States does not believe in dual citizenship with, and take the citizenship of this other country.
Right. Okay.
In other words, by becoming a citizen of another country, they lose their U.S. citizenship. A Jew who becomes a religion other than Judaism is considered no longer a Jew. And that may be surprising to many people. They'll say, oh, no, that's not true. Well, times determine how strict we are going to be with Jewish law. And I know it's here somewhere. R.A. Kaplan R.A. Kaplan Anthology. It's published by Masora Publications with the stamp of the OU. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, again.
Okay. That's the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations of America. They're the ones who put the OU Hechsher on foods. Okay. NCSY is the National Conference of Synagogue Youth, which is the Orthodox Youth Group. They're the ones who are responsible for the publication of this book. Okay. The book that I'm referring to is right here, Okay, I don't know about if you can see that. Okay, it's called The Real Messiah by R.A. Kaplan. Okay. I am reading on page 270. Okay. Sorry. This brings us back to our original question, what can a Jew lose by embracing Christianity? The answer is everything. Christianity negates the fundamentals of Jewish faith, and one who accepts it rejects the very essence of Judaism, even if he continues to keep all the rituals. Right. It's the same as if he abandoned Judaism completely. The Talmud teaches us, whoever accepts idolatry denies the entire Torah. A Jew who accepts Christianity might call himself a Jewish Christian, but he is no longer a Jew.
Wow.
Right there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
It's very blurry. You could scoot it in a little closer. It'd be nice. And just hold it real steady for a second. Yeah, it's almost clear. There you go. Hold it right there. Don't move. Okay, but he is no longer a Jew. Right. Got it. Okay.
Notice the little number there, 16?
Yes.
Okay. That's a reference to Maimonides, who said the same thing.
Okay.
Mishnah Torah Avodot Kochavim, chapter 2, Halacha 5.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So Aryeh Kaplan's a very well-respected Orthodox rabbi. He's writing explicitly to respond against the Jews for Jesus, Messianic Jews, Hebrew Christians, or whatever they're calling themselves this week.
Right.
Okay. So, and there's a responsa from all sorts of different, very well-respected rabbis, all in the Orthodox community, all over the last 2,000 years, who say the same thing.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, when in times of need, you can be lenient. In times of need, you can be not so lenient. And now is a time, and Aryeh Kaplan, may rest in peace, certainly understood this. This is a time to be very strict and say, sorry, so long as a person clings to their idolatry, their Christianity, we don't consider them a Jew.
Right.
But if they want to come back to Judaism, we can be very lenient, but only for those coming back to us, not while they still cling to their Christianity.
Okay, so
the point is that the Jews are a nation defined by our religion.
Right.
And in order to be a Jew, your mother has to be Jewish, or you have to have converted to Judaism. It's that simple. Now, if you're going to ask who is a Jew, now you start thinking about individual people specifically.
Right.
Like, is Joe Schmo a Jew?
Right.
Okay, well, then you have to start asking the very specific questions. First question is going to be asked, was his mother Jewish?
Was your mother, right.
Okay, how do we know his mother was Jewish? Do you have anything to show us that your mother was Jewish?
Right.
Well, she was buried in a Jewish cemetery, and her Hebrew name is on her gravestone.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I have a copy of my parents' ketubah. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move into, to me, a more, an equally important question is, why is it called a Jew? Why not a Hebrew? Why not an Israeli?
Okay, there are various
why
words
Jew?
that were used for the same people over periods of time.
Right.
Okay, the children of Israel. Who was Israel? Israel was the other name given to Jacob. Remember wrestling with the angel?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the people of Israel, the children of Israel, the nation of Israel, all refers to the same basic group of people. Okay, then history intervenes. Life intervenes. When they became the descendants of Jacob, the people of Israel became slaves. They got the name of Hebrew, the Hebrews. Okay, when they moved into the promised land, okay, they became Israelites. Again, the people of Israel. Israel being the other name for Jacob. So you still have this familial family identity.
Right.
Okay. We already said King David had Solomon. Solomon had two. Solomon messes up, and he's told by God, okay, after you, you're going to see the nation divided.
Right.
The nation will be divided. It gets not divided into the northern kingdom and in the southern kingdom.
Right.
Okay. Now let me find the references real quick.
And by the way, while you're looking for the references, one quick, easy way to remember who was between Jeroboam and Rehoboam, which of the two was a better king in general. Rehoboam, just remember, repent starts with R-E. There you go. That's a good memory marker. So, anyway. So what reference are you looking for in Kings, right?
Wait a minute. Oh, heck. Give me a second.
Okay.
I've got to find this wonderful, wonderful file.
While you're doing that, I'm going to read something from a friend who is on Facebook. And hopefully she'll be pleased. She was actually there, believe it or not, in Houston, Rabbi. In fact, what's really funny is I didn't even realize, I don't even know how long she was sitting next to me. You know how me and you were sitting in Houston? We were sitting like to the left of the camera, right? With like four seats. And we had Rita and Bonnie were close by.
That's where we always sit.
Right, exactly.
Where I always sit.
Okay, so
all the way in the back next to the, out of the way of the camera.
To the right of the camera, in that big gap, that big deluge, and that big tripod camera sitting there. At one point, I looked up and looked into my right, and I was like, wow, she looks really familiar. But I didn't know who she was. That was our sweet sister Lorene Ward, and on Facebook, and it took me a second to register that, and after I realized who it was, I extended my hand, and then I thought she was going to be there for 2 days, and we didn't actually get to visit. So Lorene, thank you for coming. It was good to shake your hand at least. Next time I know that you're going to be around, we'll make sure to dedicate a coffee break with you or something, okay? So, but anyway, she said something. She says, I had went to an unveiling, and she didn't expect me to read this or anticipate this being a question, but I thought it would be a good thing to cover tonight at some point. She said, I went to an unveiling of a grave site, and a couple was asking questions about why you put stones on a grave site and why
absolutely
and why flowers are not used in a Jewish funeral.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you've got time, we'll cover that tonight. All
right, but let me finish this first.
No, go right ahead. Take your time. Take as much time as you need.
Okay. Why is the name Jew given?
Okay.
Okay. That's the part of his question we're answering now, right? Okay. Let's take the word American. In the United States, we are called Americans.
Like Amorites? I'm just kidding. That was just a joke. Well, I mean,
yeah, very funny.
You can use that, actually.
Don't confuse people, because now they're going to think Amorites. Okay. When explaining something to people, you got to be real careful how you. Okay.
Yeah,
At any rate, the word American covers all people who are here, no matter what their backgrounds were. A person could be Irish American, Swedish American, African American, Kenya American, Japanese American, whatever. They're Americans. The word America covers them all, right?
Right.
Okay. Jew comes from the word Judah, but the word Judah is not just the tribe of Judah. Judah was the name of the southern country.
Okay.
And you have various verses in Chronicles.
Oh, that's a good point. Right,
where it explicitly talks about people of the northern kingdom, who were in Judah.
Okay.
But the word Jew is derived from the word Judah, but it's not referring to the tribe of Judah. It's referring to the southern nation called Judah, in which there were people from every tribe.
Right.
2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 9. Okay? 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 9.
Okay.
And he gathered all of Judah and Benjamin and those dwelling with them from Ephraim and Manasseh and from Simeon, for many of Israel, that means the northern kingdom, had defected to them, to the southern kingdom, when they saw that the eternal their God was with them, with the southern kingdom. Okay?
Okay.
Or before that, 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 3. speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all of Israel in Judah.
Gotcha.
All of Israel means those people from the northern tribes, plural, 10 tribes in Israel, who were living in Judah.
Wow.
Okay? 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 15. And after them, from all the tribes of Israel, those who put their heart to seek the eternal, the God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice to the eternal, the God of their forefathers. So this is after the destruction of the northern kingdom. You have references to the northern tribes living in Judah. So the word Judah, which gives us our word Jew, is not referring to the tribe of Judah. It's referring to the nation called Judah, which was the southern kingdom that incorporated Jews from every single tribe. All the northern ones plus all the southern ones. Right. And it's that simple.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Wow.
Remember the derivation of the word Yehudah.
Yeah, right.
Okay? So those who praise. Okay.
You said something very clear too that made sense too, and there's something that I had been pondering over a period of time as well. And number one that you had mentioned, I never really considered before now, was that it wasn't just the tribe of Judah that was called the Jew, but actually the actual land, the southern region, was called Judea. So so to me that is like the best thing I've heard so far. But in addition to, if you think about the reason why it was called Jews, the same reason Israel was called Israel is because Jacob's name was changed to Israel and his heart was changed and he served God. So the tribe of Judah was in the south, so they named that the southern kingdom Judah, right? So it's all making sense now. So the reason why they're the ones who are entrusted with the word of Hashem is because they were the ones who remained faithful. So we're converting to Judaism, not converting to Benjamin. Well, actually, that would be true for Benjamin because he was Southern Kingdom too. But I mean, not converting to
but all the kingdoms, all the tribes were in the Southern Kingdom, not just Benjamin.
No, you had 10 tribes in the north.
Exactly. So, and by the way, remember something else, an interesting little tidbit of history, I guess you'd call it.
Okay.
By and large, the rabbis didn't call themselves Jews; they said Israel.
Oh, here's a really crazy trivia question for you. Was Moses Jewish? Don't answer that. That was more something to leave people scratching their heads as they go to sleep tonight. So
okay, because I would say definitely yes.
Yeah, I would say too, but he wasn't from the tribe of Judah. So how do you figure that? Because he was in the southern kingdom.
And because he was from well, no, Moses was never in the kingdom. He died well before they went to the promised land.
Oh yeah, see, that's even worse. So why would Moses be called a Jew if he was not number one of Judah?
Because the word Jew refers to the people of the religion.
Nice, but where in Torah does it say that?
Well, it's not going to, because term Jew.
That's where you're going to have a problem with so many people as they start crossing this era. So that's why I
understand that, but I understand that, but look, remember something. The Jews are the ones who have the right to determine what is a Jew and who is a Jew.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, ex-Jews do not have the right to determine who is a Jew. Ex-Jews who are now Christians don't have the right to determine who is a Jew. Right. Christians who are wannabe Jews don't have the right to determine who is a Jew. The Jewish law, Judaism and Jewish law determines who's a Jew.
Right. It's kind of like you don't want to go to somebody who's been divorced 40 times for marriage counseling. It's just not smart.
Well, that's true. I'm not sure how that relates, but yes, that's true.
Okay, same thing. Okay.
All right. Good. So, So Moses is considered a Jew because he was of the religion of the Jewish people. Okay, even if the term wasn't invented until after he had been, buried on the mountain. Okay, we still apply it to him because he was part of our faith. He's called Moses, our rabbi. So, at any rate.
Wow, man, this has been like one of the funnest nights I've had in a long time.
They
Maybe,
always are. We always have fun.
but you know what?
Even when you're wrong.
Maybe because it's like you just happen to show up like whenever I'm like coming out of a slump or something. I don't know, but it's always good to see your smiling face, man. And this is like the first day in like 7 or 8 days. I've been sick as a dog, and it's like this has been the first day I've had like full energy, like nonstop, and really feeling good and really excited to go back to work. And man, it's been
I am
good.
never excited to go back to work.
I
That's why
love
they
work.
call it work. I want to play. I want to play the rest of my life.
Yeah, I enjoy work. I think working's fun. I think it depends on where you're working at and what you're doing.
Well, it depends on what you call work.
Yeah,
I'm not sure everything I do I'd call work, even if it's related to work.
Okay, so here's the deal. Listen, so for all
What was your other question you wrote down?
that I wrote down. No, it was actually. Oh, there was a question it was a question I was going to ask you based on a comment that Delane Davis had actually said earlier. The problem is now it's been so long. It's been well over 30 or 40 minutes ago. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Let me scan it real fast. Hang on.
Well, it was just 2 minutes.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked about a question you wanted to ask, but I wanted to go first and finish this. What is
yeah. I found it right here. Okay, so dear Rabbi, when talking to a Christian, how does one diffuse the claims? This is by Wishing Well Hire Sydney. Okay, Wishing Well Hire Sydney. Okay, so Sydney obviously has a thing called Wishing Well, so hire Sydney. So, dear Rabbi, when talking to a Christian, how does one diffuse the claim the Jews are blinded and dual prophecies so that they can take our interpretation? Oh, first of all, let me say something here real quickly, Sydney. We don't have an interpretation. The Jewish people don't have an interpretation. They have the original. Everyone else in the world has the interpretations. So the reason why they should take the Jews' interpretation, so to speak, is because it's not an interpretation. It's the original. But your questions are still valid, meaning that how does one diffuse the claims that the Jews have been blinded, which is a New Testament thing? I would say it's a New Testament invention, but it's really not. It is in the Tanakh. There's a leak. There's a slight idea about a certain people group being blinded for whatever, but they have taken it to their advantage to push their agenda. And then the second thing being the dual prophecies, which is really good because Rabbi Singer and I discussed this about 2 or 3 weeks ago on a couple shows back. So those are both really fantastic questions, and I expect that Rabbi Federow here will address both of them tonight before we discontinue this whole process.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Okay,
go for it.
If you can, you want to bring this up on your screen.
Give me a second because I don't have that shot ready. But talk to us about it first, and then.
It's 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 13 and following.
Okay. Don't read it off yet. Just talk about it first. That way, give me time to bring it up. Okay, 2 Corinthians 3:13.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's like okay, so that's like 2 Corinthians 3:13. Is that talking about the Passover?
No.
Okay. All right.
Because his first question was about the veil.
Well, who's
about
first?
The blindness of the Jews.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, give me a minute to pull that up. I've got it on my screen, but I have to actually create a shot because that shot got deleted. So give me 1 second. All right. But go ahead and talk about the veil and where do you think they get it from, and then I'll put it up on screen for you.
Okay. Look, the first thing that you have to understand is that when Christianity started co-opting the Jewish Bible and started interpreting it to be all about Jesus, they had to come up with an excuse on why the Jews couldn't see Jesus in the pages of their own Bible. Okay, the Jews are the ones who created the concept of Messiah. Okay, the Jews are the ones who kept the Bible, determined what would be in the Bible. The Jews are the ones who determined what a Messiah would be. It's all a Jewish thing. So if they're going to come along and make the change and start redefining terminology, they have to come up with a reason why the Jews can't see Jesus in the pages of their own scripture.
Okay, I've got you on screen now, so go ahead and...
Okay. If they make the statement that Jesus is in the pages of the Hebrew Scriptures, they have to come up with an excuse on why the Jews don't see him there.
Right.
Okay. So that's why they're coming up with this whole veil over their mind business.
Interesting.
But it's a very interesting thing, the way in which they word it. Okay,
You mean they, meaning the New Testament, right? So, and
I'm talking about the New Testament.
right, and not
Okay.
as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished, but their minds were blinded. For until this day remaineth. And okay, so it goes on talking about how they were blinded, period, because they couldn't see that Jesus was the Messiah.
Okay. What does this mean? Moses put a veil over his face because you may recall that when he came down from the mountain, from having been with God directly,
that's
his
funny.
face shined.
Oh my God!
Okay, he had shining come over his face.
Wow.
Okay, so what he did was keep it up there, would you please?
Okay, I'll put it back up. Okay, you got it.
Please, and keep it up there. It's very important for people to see it in the New Testament.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so he's got this shining on his face, and frankly, it looks weird. Okay, people are going to get scared off of it. So in order to protect the people and not make them scared of why Moses' face is shining, he would walk around with his face covered with a veil.
Okay.
Okay? Not as Moses, who put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not look to the end of what is abolished. It's called the Mosaic Law, right?
Right.
So what Paul is writing here in 2 Corinthians chapter 3 is the idea that Moses hid himself because the people of Israel didn't want to look at what was eventually going to be abolished.
Okay.
Goes on in 14 to say the following. Their minds were blinded, for to this day the same veil is not taken away while they're reading the Hebrew Scriptures. Their minds were blinded, for until this day remains the same veil, untaken away, when they read the Old Testament. Okay?
Yeah.
But then it says, but the veil is done away in Christ. Even to this day, when Moses, that's the Torah, is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, when their heart turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. What is that saying? It says you have to be a Christian to see Jesus in the pages of the Hebrew Scriptures, because it's not inherently there by itself.
Right. Wow.
If I have to become a Christian, if I have to turn my heart to Jesus in order to see Jesus in the pages of the Hebrew Scriptures, that means that it's not a part of the Hebrew Scriptures inherently, because only a Christian can see it there. They're admitting this.
Right.
Okay? In other words, they're saying that Christians look at the Hebrew Scriptures through Christian-colored glasses. Okay?
Right.
How's that? They're looking at
You look like
the
Batman.
Hebrew Scriptures through Christian-colored glasses.
Okay.
Okay? And that's the only reason why they can see it there. If I have to become a Christian to take the veil off of my heart, to take the veil off of my mind, then what they want to see there isn't inherently there.
Right.
They're admitting, look,
that you have to have taken the pill to be able to
Exactly.
actually get it. Right. To actually see
exactly.
something more
In other
than what's
words,
there.
if a Martian lands on Earth, and you and I have talked about this repeatedly, if a Martian lands on Earth, checks into a motel, and then opens a drawer and pulls out the Gideon Bible, and starts with Genesis and reads through it,
Right.
when he gets to the New Testament, he's going to go, what is this stuff? This doesn't match what I just read in the Hebrew Scriptures.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Deuteronomy says, Deuteronomy 24:16, every man should be put to death for his own sin, but now they're saying this Jesus guy dies for our sins. Contradicts it.
Man, oh man.
But if that same Martian opens up the book 3/4 of the way through to the New Testament, reads through that, and then goes back to look at the Hebrew Scriptures, well, then of course he's going to see there what he was told to see by the New Testament.
Right.
But that whole passage, and this to answer his question, what was his name?
Actually, the person who asked that question was Sydney, wishing well.
Sydney. Okay, Sydney.
He, she, whatever. I know a couple.
Yeah,
I know two
I
Sydneys
always
that are-
love the name Sydney for a girl.
Actually, I know a couple.
At any rate, Sydney, if they're showing you or telling you got a veil over your mind that you can't see this, Okay, ask them how do I take the veil away, and they'll say believe in Jesus. And your answer is, so what you're telling me is it's not inherently there. I have to be a Christian first before I'm going to see it there.
She says it's circular reasoning, right?
Absolutely.
Right on.
Okay, I got to be a Christian to see it there.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's there. No, it's not there, or you should be able to see it without being a Christian.
Wow.
If it's only believing in Jesus takes the veil off of my mind, it's not inherently there. A Martian should be able to see it there.
Totally. Yep.
Okay. And what was the second question? Her second question?
Let's see. Hold on. Actually, I don't know if I can find it now because I actually unhighlighted it and scrolled way down. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Hang on.
Oh, dual prophecies.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Good.
Okay. Dual prophecies.
I love you, chuckle.
We
hey,
all have
keep
our
this
own
going
way
for
to deal with things.
Rabbi. Keep this
Okay?
going, Rabbi.
Yeah?
Keep this going for a minute or two. I have to leave the desk for just a moment.
Believe me, I'll keep this going. Okay?
Okay. All right.
All right. I hope that Sydney takes a look at the recently videotaped visit, okay, by Rabbi Tovia Singer when he came to Nativ. Okay, nativ.net, I think it is. NETIV, I think it's .net. Look at the most recent visit of Rabbi Tovia Singer, because part of his 2-3 hour lecture was on this very topic. Okay, and he pointed out the following. He said there's a problem with dual prophecies, and that is that the prophecy, therefore, because it's a dual prophecy, had to be fulfilled twice. The first time and then the second time, which makes it dual. So, for example, if they're going to say that Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, okay, which is what Christians refer to about the virgin birth, a virgin shall give birth, if they're going to say it was a dual prophecy also fulfilled by Jesus, the first prophecy of it was in the days of Isaiah. Therefore, there had to be a virgin birth in the days of Isaiah, not just by Jesus from Mary. So the first problem with the dual prophecy is they're admitting that it was already fulfilled once, and the second part of the dual prophecy, only that second time is it fulfilled in Jesus. There's another issue which I raise with the question of dual prophecy, and that's very simple, okay? If you're going to take a look at a prophecy in the Hebrew Scriptures and say, oh, but this is a dual prophecy of a later instance, why not say there's a triple prophecy or a quadruple prophecy? If you're going to say, for example, the virgin birth story, okay, that Rabbi Singer, used as an example, you're going to have to say, well, in the days of Isaiah, there was the initial prophecy fulfilled, and that was with the mother of the virgin mother of a child in the days of Ahaz, in Isaiah's time, and the second prophecy was Jesus, from Mary. Why not say there's a triple prophecy, okay? And Jesus's birth from Mary is the third prophecy, but the second prophecy is the virgin birth of Perseus, who was from his human mother Persephone, who was made pregnant without the benefit of sex. That's a virgin birth from Zeus. So now it's three prophecies: the time of Isaiah, the time of the Greeks, okay, with Zeus and Persephone, the human mother of Perseus, the semi-god. And then the third time would be Jesus. Why not say if you can have two, you can have three, but you can also have four prophecies? So what about the fulfillment of virgin birth with me and names? First you had
Dina.
Greece, then you had
Dina,
Rome.
right?
And in Roman mythology, you also have gods born of human mothers by other gods for a father. So if you can have one prophecy and then claim there's two, why not claim there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6? It
Right.
becomes ludicrous how many times you're going to say that a single prophecy gets to be able to be applied. Did you, William, did you catch that part of what I was saying?
I just got back a second ago. So,
all right, what I was saying very quickly is this. I used Rabbi Singer's example of this Isaiah 7:14, that if they're going to say a dual prophecy of this woman, of the virgin giving birth, that it had to have happened twice, because it's a dual prophecy, first fulfilled with Isaiah's time.
Oh man, right.
Okay, and then fulfilled a dual prophecy second time with Jesus from Mary.
700 years later, right.
700 years later, because you know that Ahaz is going to be so thrilled to know he has nothing to worry about, because some woman 700 years later is going to give birth.
Yeah, long after he's dead, right.
My point is that if you can have two, why can't you have three or four?
That's a good point, right.
So not only do you have the virgin birth in the time of Isaiah, you also have a virgin birth in the time of Greeks, because Persephone gave birth to Perseus, having been pregnant from Zeus without benefit of sex. A pregnancy that's not from the act of sex means it's a virgin birth. So first it's fulfilled in Isaiah, then it's fulfilled with Greece, with Persephone. But what about the virgin births in Roman mythology?
Right.
So that's a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, however many there were, and then you come with Jesus. So if you can have a dual prophecy and say it's legitimate, you can have a triple prophecy and say it's legitimate, or a quadruple prophecy, or a...
Which means Christianity should not reject Zeus, and they should not reject all these others.
Exactly.
Well. Right.
Then they have to say that it was fulfilled in the birth of Perseus by Persephone, the human mother, and Zeus, the god for a father. If you allow for two, why not three or four or five prophecy fulfillments?
Right.
It becomes ludicrous.
Okay, so, yeah, right. Purpose Films says an Orthodox Jew does not get involved in debates. That is true, by the way, except for those who are engaged in counter-missionary work. And who would be involved in counter-missionary work are those Jews who are educated rabbis who actually are protecting their Jewish people against people who are missionaries, in which case they need to be prepared to defend whatever the case may be. So that's really a non-issue tonight. But
Purpose Films, let me remind you of something else. And you should check with Orthodox rabbis, don't believe me. But there's so much to study and so much to learn.
Thank you.
Most Jews, I don't care what they claim to be a part of, Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Reconstructionist, purely Zionist, atheist, you name it. Comparative religion is a very specialized field of study. Okay? And
yeah, true.
Most Jews, most rabbis never pick up a New Testament to read it. There are some customs in some parts of Orthodoxy where you're forbidden to even own or read a New Testament or the religious literature of another religion. So unless a person is involved in comparative religion and in these kinds of, trying to help Jews get out of Christianity, they're not going to know anything about what we're talking about.
Right. And they need to.
It's a specialized field of study.
The thing is, especially now, in our current world, anybody, especially people in America, or I say that because that's where I'm at, it's the only thing I know, is there's so many people who are really geared to pushing towards trying to convert Jews. So realistically, people need to be more open, rabbis need to be more open-minded to the wolves that are actually keeping they're eyeballing their flock, because it's really to the point of almost a plague in the sense of things, because it's actually taught to the Jew first and then to the Gentile. Of course, later on he says, the heck with you Jews in the New Testament, but still, it's a real big epidemic going on right now. So my recommendation would be, is any of you who or even non-Jews who maybe go to the synagogue and are able to talk to your rabbis just because y'all are friends or whatever, just kind of, they need to be aware that, the people are constantly looking out for Jewish people to try to target them for conversion, so it's really important that they know. The good thing about it is, though, now I think that is someone who's actually going to, who is a religious Jew, who actually attends the synagogue and who really is someone who studies their Tanakh, they're not going to fall for it anyway. It's the Jewish people who are cultural Jews. Those are the ones who are going to fall for it. Ones who weren't raised in a studious household. Those are the ones who will fall for this whole.
By and large, what you are saying is correct.
Okay, but
however, people can be lulled to sleep if they believe that only non-Orthodox Jews can get sucked in to.
No, I didn't say non-Orthodox. I said non-studious.
Okay, all right.
I
but I would argue.
Yeah.
But I would argue that the Orthodox don't read
the prophets.
Yeah, no. They don't read the New Testament. They don't read anything Christian.
Okay,
they don't understand the first reason of why a person would even ask a question that they ask when they're trying to missionize someone.
Right, but my point is the Jewish person who has never seen the New Testament, who has known nothing but studying the Tanakh, and I don't mean just the Torah, which is going to be the synagogue activity plus after if that's how it works, but just a Jew, a studious Jew who studies the entire Tanakh, who has been raised in this household, would never fall for New Testament theology. That's what I'm saying. It would be the one who was more of a secular Jew, or one who was not someone who was who was actually studying their Tanakh as they were growing up, or even in a recent modern in the current society. So, because you see stories like Matteo Ballaston is a great example. There's a big video out where this guy comes on. He looks like a Jewish person. He looks like the classic Jew. He's got the kippah, he's got the long beard, he's got the tzitzit, he's laying there, and he's talking with the New York accent. Of course, if you don't have a New York accent, you can't be Jewish. So this guy, he's really laying it on thick. But then he goes to mocking Judaism in general, and then it turns out this guy, he found Jesus through Isaiah 7:14. Of all things, the stupidest dang place you could say, that's what did it for me as a studious Jew. That's what he picked. And millions of Christians are flocking to this stupid. I'm sorry, I'm really aggravated with this video. I really wished I could get him on the phone, not knowing Rabbi Singer or Rabbi Federow was listening in. I would love that. That would just, man, that would be the icing on the cake for me. Some things I used to have a high tolerance for because of ignorance, but the more and more I'm in this journey, Rabbi, the less and less tolerance I'm having, and I need to be careful with that, because Tanakh Talk is going to be here for a long time, and I need to make sure that we're patient.
William, there is such a common story with these people who've gone Messianic Judaism. Right. Okay, it's a very common story. Whether they agree with me or not, take a look at every single autobiography of every single Jews for Jesus, Messianic Jew, Hebrew Christian, whatever they're calling themselves this week. Every autobiography written, because they always talk about major problems, addiction, divorce, alcoholism, all these problems that they had that Jesus just took away.
Right.
And then they start looking at the Hebrew Scriptures and seeing what they already believe there, which is what we were talking about earlier with the, Christian glasses.
Right.
Okay. It's not that they pick up the Bible and start reading it and become a Christian from it. It's because they're already Christian and now they're reading the Hebrew Scriptures through their already existing Christian glasses.
Right.
So, and every single one of their autobiographies that I've ever run across, they don't say, I woke up one day and somehow it just made sense to me that God has to turn himself into a human being and then offer himself up as a sacrifice of himself to himself in order to forgive people for their sins. They don't do that. They always talk about the problems they had and the addictions they had and the divorce, or mommy, I could make straight A's and I was never good enough. Okay.
Right.
And Jesus takes away my guilt, and it's all emotional. It's all, and I got to tell you, I don't care how educated you are in Judaism. I don't care if you are 50 years in yeshiva. If the emotional problems a person is having can be satisfied by their conversion to Christianity, they'll do it. They'll justify it rationally later, but emotionally they will go to it even if they have a very good Orthodox training. Yes, I agree with you. By and large, the more deeply you are truly into Orthodoxy, okay, into Torah learning, the less likely you are.
Right.
But to say it doesn't happen or can't happen is, well, I think dangerous, because it makes people lax when they should be very strict.
Interesting.
Makes people think, oh, I'm immune.
I think
the only way
I could actually like move into saying like to where yeah, you're totally right, would be if that person who had been studying Torah and Tanakh their whole entire childhood, or that they really know it well, Tanakh, not just Torah but Tanakh, where the prophets are,
right,
would be if for some reason they decided that maybe some things could have changed, but if they believe that way, then that means they're not Orthodox. Because if they're Orthodox, they're going to believe that the word of Hashem is forever, nothing can be tampered with, nothing can be changed, period, no matter what anybody says. Now, a Reformed Jew or a conservative Jew, maybe they might change and say, well, I can see where you're coming from, because I can see how that might work somehow, because in the back of my mind, maybe God did change something. But an Orthodox Jew would say, no, God doesn't change. He doesn't waver. Nothing. It's ingrained in their teaching. They it's don't add to or take away from the word of Hashem. And so once you tarry away from that, you become Reformer. You become even conservative, whatever the case may be. So I think that there's just a lot of terminology that really bounces things around in the different categories. There's too many variables.
I think you're right.
So, well, I'll tell you what, it's been a really, really cool. I'm really glad we got to do 2 hours tonight, because I've missed you for 2-3 weeks now. This is the third week we finally got in the studio.
It's good to be back.
Yes.
Man, I miss talking with you.
Man, I missed the show with you as well. Fortunately, I got to see you, but I really... And no offense, I enjoyed seeing you. I enjoyed hanging out with you. I enjoyed eating steak with you, kosher steak in Houston. But I really missed the show. So 2 hours, bada boom, bada bing. We're almost caught up. Maybe we do another 2-hour show next week and we'll be fully caught up. That might make me a really, really a happy redneck.
Right.
So, but thank you all for tuning in. Rabbi, thank you for your long-windedness. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, for all you viewers out there.
Enjoy it.
Coming up, I'm telling you, that's happening. Walk the Tanakh Talk Israel Tour is happening in 2018. We're not sure what season. It's going to be in the cool weather, though. If you're interested, find me on Facebook. Send me a message. Let me know if you're interested. And I understand, according to statistics, only about 30% of those who are interested will actually participate. But we need to know who's at least interested.
That's a good number.
Yeah, that's not bad. So I'm hoping I can talk Rabbi Federow into coming. That would be really cool. So, and I know that would be a sweet surprise for Rabbi Singer as well. So it's been great. It's been a great show. And I really love you, Rabbi. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all the viewers. Great questions out there. Thanks for calling in. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow night, Rabbi Chaim Kaufman, Controversial Issues. We might actually get into Zionism. We will see. We'll find out. Rabbi, shalom, shalom to you. And
shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.